whom also is God of the living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, Baruch Kodash, which means all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten and anointed Son, Yahushai, and the Holy Spirit, who was our strength and our Redeemer and our light and our salvation. With that, Mashanah, Kabbalim Lahasaquanium, Shalom Wabakah, many double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, the true shepherds of Israel, preaching the sound doctrine in faith, truth, and sincerity, and shalom, honors and salutations to Bayasha Dawadah, the 144,000 elect governing body, the house of David, to be reserved within these last days from the Lord, Yahweh by Shemeshai's terrible judgment of his plagues, all right, along with the rest of the 1/3 elect men, women, and children of Israel. All right, this is a fellow servant Malak Rayab, back at it again. Another lesson will be the spirit of prophecy and edification. In this case, selected the prophecy of edification, exhortation. All right, Adam Ratazat, Lord willing, within this video, along with the spirit of prophecy, being a testimony of our Lord and Savior, Hamashiach Yahushai, who the Master of the world, eagerly refers to Jesus Christ. All right, and this is just a prophetic update on the division of Babylon the Great, widely known as America, the city of confusion being broken down by the spirit power of Yahweh by Shemeshai's judgment of his indignation, as in righteous anger upon the sinful kingdom. All right, whose sins have reached the heavens, man. Promoting all manners of perverseness and decadence, and cleanness here in this land known as America, and how this place is finished. All right, within this modern day Western corporation, this Western corporate system within America, Babylon the Great is finished. Especially on a political scale, which politics has been used as a tool of confusion and division, to further, to further justify the devising of, pandemonium and chaos within the streets of America. And this is what the true vibration of this Roe v. Wade overturning decision by the Supreme Court, was to bring forth. All right, that particular purpose. So I'm about to just go ahead and get into the information. All right, and filter everything to biblical prophecy regarding the downfall of America, Babylon the Great, by way of the judgment of Yahweh by Shemeshai, and Adam Ratazah. This is for edifying his order to elect that comes across the video. So I'm going to start with this article here on SCOTUSblog.com, which SCOTUS is an acronym for the Supreme Court of the United States. And it says Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. All right, which the decision was made yesterday, Friday the 24th. All right, oddly enough, at the same time, the decision on behalf of the Supreme Court to pass, a gun legislation, further expanding the Second Amendment rights for U.S. citizens, and also hindering the rights of the 14th Amendment, pertaining to the Roe v. Wade situation in regards to women's rights and so forth. So I'm about to go ahead and get into. And this is further confirms this is the America, Babylon the Great is a land of confusion. Because they're passing these laws and policies to create friction between, two particular groups of political ideals dealing with left-wing and right-wing politics within this left-wing and right-wing paradigm. All right, because once again, pursuant to Daniel 8:25, policy has always been a tool of witchcraft, man. That's the legacy of white supremacy. Okay, pursuant to Nahum the third tribe, and that's why this Western this Western corporate system is being broken down by the Heavenly Father. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this information here. It says, holding the Constitution does not confer a right to abortion. Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania versus Casey overruled the authority to regulate abortion is returned to the people and their elected representatives. Said judgment. Reversed and remanded 63 in an opinion by Justice Alito on June 24, 2022. Justice Thomas and Kavanaugh filed concurring opinions. All right, and Brett Kavanaugh, the Justice Brett Kavanaugh was the one that these pro-abortion activists and whatnot were camping outside of his home, basically entertaining the idea of threatening him. All right, and these certain politicians were being ridiculed for egging him on. All right, including the former spokesperson, Jen Psaki, okay, in regards to her affiliation with these politicians and insiders and whatnot, because they're all in on this division, all right? Order ab chaos, the Hegelian dialectic, all right? So it says Chief Justice Roberts filed an opinion concurring the judgment. Justices Breyer, Sotomayor, and Kagan filed a dissenting opinion, all right? So they overturned this 50-year, this 50-year abortion decision, all right, for women to no longer have the right to murder their children, which was nothing but a satanic sacrifice, a satanic blood ritualistic sacrifice to the sun god Nimrod through Baal Molech idolatry. All right, because these are the vibrations of, the decisions of these tools of Satan, i.e. politics and whatnot. Proceeding to Revelation 18 chapter that's going to get this place destroyed. All right. So this, so I'm going to bring us more information on this next article on intercept.com. It says, in overturning Roe, radical Supreme Court declares war on the 14th Amendment. It says, Alito's opinion completely elides the significance of the 14th Amendment, which was explicitly designed to address the particular horrors of slavery, including the right of individuals to determine whether, with whom, and when to form a family. All right, so because off the coattails of Jake, all right, the captives of Jerusalem, otherwise known as the slaves, victims of slavery, all right, throughout these secular events of slavery, all right, within the United States of America, all right, you've had these other groups, basically ride out coattails of oppression, like the alphabet mafia, all right, and these women, okay, case in point. Now be careful what you ask for. So now, because now this devil has removing your liberty. Meaning what? This is this Roe v. Wade situation. All right, is really just another omen of the rights that you people thought you had being taken away from you completely. Okay, like going to the theme of the World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and you will love it. All right, because you love sleep. All right, and because you believe in the rulers of the darkness of this world, putting your trust in men, being cursed in the process. So you're not going to have a dog in the fight when all hell breaks loose out here. And this is what these devils want. Okay, it's bigger than you women, man. They don't give a damn about no abortions, man. It's bigger than that. There's a bigger plot at hand. Okay, and that's destruction. Okay, all right, and ultimately control. So anyway, it says less than an hour after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution no longer recognizes the right to abortion, and that the decision about whether individuals enjoy reproductive freedom should be decided by an individual states, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt was ready. So because he ended up ending abortion in the state of Missouri. So they so this further confirms this is our plan, man. I mean, when it says he was ready, it means this was pre-planned by these insiders, man. On behalf of the wicked elite central bankers, all right, concocting all of this engineered madness, all right, including going into this situation here. Speaking of engineered madness, all right, get this article here on Zero Hedge. Going to reload it up. All right, and this is entitled Biden Deeply Disappointed. That's not what I wanted. That's Satan. Salakia. Actually, oh, my bad, Salakia. This is the one I wanted. All right, Department of Homeland Services, Salakia, the Department of Homeland Security communicates specific threats facing pro-life organizations, churches, as they brace for quote-unquote night of rage. It says, with the Supreme Court on Friday officially publishing its historic ruling overturning Roe v. Wade, crisis pregnancy centers, Catholic churches, and pro-life institutions across the country are bracing for a coming, quote-unquote, night of rage. It says, according to Newsweek and others, the Department of Homeland Security has communicated specific threats to pro-life groups and Catholic leaders after suspicious individuals and groups have, in some instances, been found casing the offices and buildings of pro-life organizations. I'm jumping down here. It says 2 days ago, we detailed an initiative by the pro-abortion group Jane's Revenge to widely distribute flyers in the D.C. area, or to widely distribute flyers in D.C. are after recently declaring open season, quote unquote, on pro-life groups and crisis pregnancy centers. Okay, so they blame that DC flyer, promoting this quote unquote night of rage. Oddly enough, a day or two before the Supreme Court ruled on this Roe v. Wade overturning, okay, along with the gun legislations, all right, to further expand the Second Amendment gun law right. Why? Because they are further engineering this chaos, man, all right, and using the simplicity of you Babylonians against yourselves, so they can just have you indulge in this engage rather in this civil war, all right, so they can further justify locking down the so-called country, all right, so they can justify controlling you, man, all right. So let me jump down a little bit to see if there's anything else I want to bring out here. I believe that was it with this article. But the point of the matter is, all right, these left-wing groups like such as Antifa and whatnot, I'm saying, pro left-wing democracy group, all right, joining these pro-abortionists, all right, on the streets, is a part of their plan, all right. These administrators, certainly, such as George Soros' Open Societies Foundations, all right, that has promoted the idea of human rights and freedom under the guise of democracy, all right, because these left-wing groups, such as Black Lives Matter and Antifa, are really under the umbrella of George Soros' philanthropist Open Societies organizations, man, because this is all engineered, man, all right. So, and that's not a coincidence that, I'm about to hit the Twitter feed right now. Goodness, there's more information on that. All right. So it's not a coincidence that, on these, just globally, you have Antifa, as you see here, okay, behind this, national chaos. Or within these protests and riots and whatnot down there in Seattle, where they pepper sprayed a young woman, okay, who was a pro-abortion protester, okay, and they're condoning this. We're not ignorant of these same devices. We understand why, but the masses don't. All right, because a lot of these people are agent provocateurs, all right, and government plants, all right. So including these people that claim to be pro-Bible or whatnot. Which I'm about to get into in a second, but nonetheless, like down here, you had a homemade flame. You had a man, a pro-abortionist, using a homemade flamethrower on LA cops. See? Now see here, you got the pro-abortion. You had the pro-abortionist, Bible believer here, getting her Bible torn up. See? So this is national chaos. You got these devils, these politicians, okay, such as Elizabeth Warren, and Maxine Waters, promoting this chaos. See? So before I bring out the precepts, let me go ahead and focus on this real quick. Like Elizabeth Warren said, urging the protection of abortion rights. Okay, but the Supreme Court, which is the highest court, just ruled otherwise. So So this is of controlled political opposition. All right, the vibration of which they're using to promote confusion is still hurting them, man. All right, because it's further emphasizing the fact that they don't have any inside camaraderie, man. So that's why these other nations are laughing at these devils down here. See? That's why you have this devil. Let's hear what she said. Let's go ahead and get the audio real quick.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
The damn mammy. You ain't seen nothing yet, because she's an insider, man. You see? Because this is just a tip of the iceberg, so to say. It's really about to get turned up out here, and that's why, real quick, what further confirms that, what these devils just did, you know, with Salakia. Bring this information out real quick. You know, I just recently brought out the article, you know, about the Supreme Court ruling on the gun legislation and open carry laws. It's back in Zero Hedge. It says, Biden deeply disappointed in SCOTUS ruling on open carry. An hour after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a New York state law requiring people to show a special need to carry a handgun outside the home in public, the White House released a statement from Biden saying he was deeply disappointed with the ruling that contradicts both common sense and the Constitution and should deeply trouble us all. All right. So basically, you know, this decision by the Supreme Court for the expanded the Second Amendment right, you know, but they're claiming that they're trying to ban assault rifles and whatnot and restrict these gun laws. Okay. All right. To prevent, saying a certain manner of people from, getting their hands on these weapons of mass destruction. All right. But yet they signed this here. You see that? You know, so this is hypocrisy at its finest. All right, and ultimately confusion. You know. So I might get into this in a second, but let me go back to. Matter of fact, let me bring out this precept. Let me bring out this precept here in Isaiah 24:10. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 10. And it reads, "The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in." Like it says in 2 Ezra 15 and 17. And men shall desire to flee to that city, but they shall not be able to, because they have military blockades, you know what I'm saying? Medical checkpoints or whatnot. You know? It's all a part of their engineer plan to regulate the so-called human experience, like they were discussing at the Davos 22 Council a few weeks ago. All right? This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "Woe to the bloody city is full of lies and robbery, the prey departed not." All right? Because America is a bloody city. It's really speaking about Syria, but America is spiritual Syria. You know, because Syria was a place of captivity as well. All right? On behalf of the bloody nation, the Assyrians, all right, known to be, known to be a bloody nation through warfare tactics and whatnot, all right, and the vibration of that empire is likened it to America. So this is a twofold prophecy, also likened it to America, Babylon the Great, all right, because this place was established off of carnality, man, all right, bloodshed of the nation of Israel, which preceded Ezekiel 35 and Revelation, Revelation 6 and 16 and other precepts, all right, the bloodshed of the saints, all right, that established this so-called country is not going to go unaccounted for, man, because that further confirms in America, Babylon the Great is a city of confusion, is an Atlantic confusion, meaning what? You know, this place promotes unaccountability, okay, a false sense of liberty, you know, like it says in 2 Peter 2 and 19, "For they that promise you liberty, for they themselves are the servants of corruption." So you people have been brought up in one of those many snares, the false sense of liberty, to be a brute beast, to be a degenerate, okay? Like you pro-abortionist, okay? Now Esau Edom, took away, it's taking away your so-called civil liberties. Now you wanna voice your displeasure about it, man. You wanna beg the devil to stop being the devil, and that's your problem. All right, you trust your enemy. So you can protest all you want against him, but all you're doing is further proclaiming your allegiance to him, because you trust in him. You're begging Zaddy to stop being mean to you, and that's folly, man, and foolishness. All right, because you don't know what time we're living in, man. Like it says in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. You know, so America was established off of the principles of wickedness, including carnality and witchcraft. All right, and that's why the bloody city is being torn down. The city of confusion, the golden city, the city of merchandising. All right, through international trade and whatnot, through this corporation, which is why commerce is so prevalent right now, but it's not as much. Why? Because of this global supply chain crisis engineered by the wicked rulers of the darkness of this world, or who behind this organized chaos, man. So jumping down to verse 4, because of the multitude of whoredoms, the welfare of a harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that sell a nation through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts, behold, I am against thee, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And because these devils, all right, in the time of Europe, all right, well, when they were actually dwelling in Europe, the bottomless pit, you know, mentioned in Revelation 20 chapter, they brought these satanic ideologies over here to America, all right, to begin the beginning stages, all right, of their NWO, all right. This was a plan, you know, centuries in the making, you know, and that's the real significance of the independences by way of 1776 when it was signed into law, all right, and that's what that movie, The Last Purge is based off of, and the Purge movie before that, and these Purge series overall, all right, because that's not the predictive programming, man. All right, what's to come? Because the Purge is going to be reality, man. Civil war, you know, spoke about in 2 Ezra 15 and 15 to 16, man. Okay. So Nahum 3, and that's part of the shame of America, division, confusion, okay, wickedness, all right. You know, because that's what shame is, all right. The nakedness of wickedness. So this is verse 6, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile and will set thee as a gazing stock. All right. That's why they're divided off that wine of Babylon spoken about in Revelation 17 and 5. All right. So this is Mark. This is St. Mark chapter 3, verse 23. And it reads, and he called them into him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? All right. And this is exactly what's happening right now. All right. You know, these politicians, all right, against these, supporting or representing America, but they're at each other's throats. Now, even though you do have political opposition in other countries, including these sovereign countries, it's not as rampant and prevalent as it is utilized in America as a tool of confusion and ultimate destruction, a part of Hegelian dialectic theory, man. Okay, and that's why, before I continue with that, let me go back to the Twitter feed. All right, now listen to it.
You see this turnout here? You ain't seen nothing yet. Women are going to control their bodies no matter how they try and stop us. The hell with the Supreme Court.
Said, to hell with the Supreme Court. And Biden said the same thing. You see? And he's a king of Babylon the Great. The president, man. Okay? The modern day Caesar. But yeah, he's speaking against the highest court of on behalf of these branches of power. All right. The highest court, the highest political court in America. But now they're talking about Congress looking to, they're talking about Congress recently passing a gun bill. Matter of fact, I'll get into that in a second. But look what she said. And Biden said the same thing. Well, I disagree with what the Supreme Court did. But hold on, you're the president. You see? You don't hear this kind of political opposition in other countries, man. So, but in the so-called country of America, it's really a satanic corporation. They're at odds with each other. It's really just ultimately, politically controlled opposition. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, the vibration still stands that there's great division. There's heavy division here in America, man. And that's an enchantment. Those are enchantments, all right, against, the Babylonians, that believe in this place. Okay? These modern day Babylonians, these Americans, man. All right? So these enchantments are going to get on these people to do something about this organized chaos, preying on the emotions on these people, okay, a part of that liberty and justice for all snare, to use these people against each other to wage this war, all right, so they can further justify shutting this place down, okay, which is part of their agenda, all right, shutting down this place, shutting down this system, including economically, politically, all right, militarily, this place is at odds, all right, because you got, that's why they're arming the citizens. But hold on, why are you doing that? What I'm saying? Despite these major shootings that have been transpiring recently within the span of weeks, like down there at that Buffalo supermarket, within a predominantly black neighborhood. Coincidence? No. Down there at Texas, within that predominantly Hispanic, so-called Hispanic elementary school. Coincidence? No. Okay? They know what they're doing. So they're using you wisdom deprived women, collectively speaking, okay, against you by using your nature against you. That's why in the book of Sirach, it says, over much liberty, keep our daughter in straitly, lest she abuse herself, but over much liberty. So it's folly to beg your government, your corrupt, vile government at that, all right, to overrule the decision, the decision in the first place to permit you to murder your children. That's why there was a sign by a Shedemite that said, I'd rather be a murderer than a mother. You see, this is what they push in America. The unclean spirit spoke about Revelation 18 chapter of perverseness, ultimately of iniquity. So I'm going to let this reprobate continue.
Will decide them. Women will be in control of their bodies, and if they think black women are intimidated or afraid, they got another thought coming. Black women will be out in droves. We will be out by the thousands. We will be out by the millions. We're going to make sure we fight for the right to control our own bodies. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello, young girl. We're fighting for you.
You see? They're preying on you, Eve, and you young women, because the youth is the focal point. Of their agenda. They would originally, and that goes into the Georgia Guidestones aspect of their agenda, to eliminate the population, the global population, from about 8 billion down to 500 million. The eugenics or whatnot. But that further exposes hypocrisy, right? Because the eugenics sprung forth abortion clinics, which they overturned recently on behalf of the Supreme Court, and these through Planned Parenthood, through these Planned Parenthood organizations. So with abortion overruling on behalf of the Roe v. Wade case in 1973, there's no use for Planned Parenthood anymore. Now they're pushing the idea that Congress, may exercise Article 5, which was in times past, was used on behalf of Congress to override certain Supreme Court decisions. You see? But the Supreme Court is the highest political court in the states. So that's ultimately sedition, all right, that's transpiring pursuant to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, man, because we're living in the last days, all right? So I just wanted to play that real quick. So I'm going to continue with the prophecies. Matter of fact, let me get this quick precept. Sirach chapter 21, verse 27. All right, this is Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach chapter 21, verse 27. And it reads, when the ungodly curseth Shaitan, he curseth his own soul. Okay? So no matter how holy you proclaim to be, how noble and patriotic, which is wicked anyway, how noble, and upstanding and moral you claim to be, if you are conformed to the image of the serpent, all right, which is the pagan Western Roman Empire, okay, more mildly known as America, pursuant to Daniel 2 and 40 and Revelation 13 and 11, okay, you are a hypocrite, okay, and because you are fighting on the side of Shaitan. So you call yourself, as cursing out other ungodly people, all right, whether you're a politician, so-called Bible believer, especially you Bible Belt so-called Christians like Lauren Boebert. Matter of fact, we can speak on that devil. Okay, you are a hypocrite, man. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Now, this is what I had. Now this character right here is well-known Seattle street preacher, right? That had his Bible destroyed. He is a first fulfillment of Sirach 21 and 27, because religion, all right, was used as a tool in which the word religion, Latin tongue restraint, was used by the wicked Greeks, all right, Edomites, during the beginning of so-called white supremacy, that used religion, all right, to persecute the Most High chosen people, the Israelites, specifically the Southern Kingdom, all right, otherwise known as the Jews at that time. All right, because the wicked vibration origin of religion is of Satan, spiritual demon Shaitan. All right, that much more further substantiated through an idea known as polytheism, man, the worship of multiple gods. Because a lot of you claim to believe in Jesus, but that goes back to the worship of multiple gods. Okay, Serapis Christus. Okay, the further origin of Jesus Christ, Iesus Christus. Okay, going back to Serapis Christus, the wicked idol that the Edomite Pharaoh Ptolemy Soter had established to control the Jake down there in Egypt. All right, primarily the Jake down there in Egypt. All right. Further confirms that religion has always been used by these Edomites, right, to control the minds of the slaves, man. That's why they would, in slavery, they would use Romans the 13th chapter in a description in the book of Peter somewhere, where it says, servants, obey thy masters with full subjection, roughly paraphrasing. But it means what they proclaim it to mean. It just means to navigate in the system, like how Shah said. When they try to tempt him, and what's that? St. Luke, the 20th chapter, I believe. They try to tempt him by enticing him to persecute, or in this case, to condemn the Roman officials. And he flipped the script on him. He said, "Why do you tempt me?" He said, "Flip over that penny. Whose superscription do you see on that penny? Meaning, whose face do you see on that penny?" And they answered, "Caesar." Okay, well, rendered unto Caesar will belong to Caesar. Pay him his shit. This is his empire. Like Arashai said, if this was my kingdom, my servants will fight. And because there's a time and a place for everything, man. Okay? Right now, we're in a time of this devil's rulership. So if you call yourself condemning the ungodly, but you also are involved in ungodly principles, no matter what you claim to believe otherwise, you are a hypocrite. Okay, and you are a cursed individual, like I said in Sirach 21 and 27. Ultimately, why? Because you trust in men, including, and that's mainly the man of sin and son of perdition. Behind all of this organized chaos, Esau, Edom, the serpent, the devil the Bible speaks of, whose hands the world was given into for a short season, pursuing the Job 9:24 and Daniel 4:17, man. And we're living in the last days of his rulership, man. Okay, and because of these insights we've been given. Okay, so you so-called Bible Belt Christians, including you patriotic right-wing hillbillies. Okay, you've been caught up in the delusions that Yahweh Shemashai has given over to you, is pointed on to you through your delusions. They're like Lauren Boebert. Okay, matter of fact, I believe I tweeted that. Matter of fact, let me bring that up in 1 second. Now I'm gonna pull up what she said out of Ratazat as soon as this thing acts right. All right. So let me go over Salakia. Let me jump down. Just 1 second, Baba Bashar. All right, this is what Lauren Boebert said. You know what? Let me pull it up.
From crucifixion if he had assault. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is facing backlash after implying that Jesus could have defended himself from crucifixion if he had assault rifles.
The little Twitter trolls, they like to say, "Oh, Jesus didn't need an AR-15. How many AR-15s do you think Jesus would have had?" Well, he didn't have enough to keep his government from killing him.
Coming soon to Broadway, Lauren Boebert.
See? And that's why I said this is a prime example of how detrimental the world would be if Karens ran it. You see? You know? Because these Edomites don't have it, man. They're destitute of true divine wisdom and understanding. That's why in Psalm 50, verses 16 to 17 says, what is that to do to declare my statutes? You shall rebel more and more. And that's why in Habakkuk 1 and 4 it says what it says. By way of, matter of fact, let me get that. And this is why there's such chaos here. Okay? So what happened to the proclaimed year in the Bible in 1983? It was all a farce. Okay? To use the idea of the Heavenly Father to teach the precepts of men. That's why they got these institutions out here promoting their agenda. All right? So this is Habakkuk 1 and 4. And it reads, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. You see? You know? So this is part of the snares that you people have been brought up in. Let me get that next precept. Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. Daniel 8 and 25, and it says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. All right, that is the idea of peace, which lines up with 2 Peter 2 and 19. It says, he shall also stand up against the princes of princes, the prince of princes, but he shall be broken with our hands. So the archangel Michael and Allah is going to get involved on the Yahushai's dominion along with the rest of the angels, and they're going to go to war with the armies of these heathen nations, man, especially these proud princes in rulership. Mainly the proud prince Esau Edom and his 6 branches of his military and those who fight with him, alongside him. You see, because this place is finished, man. Okay, all in all, this place is finished. Okay, economically, politically. Okay, militarily, morally has been finished. Now that for the exposed hypocrisy. So now you overturn Roe v. Wade for what purpose? Was it because you became moral overnight? No. It's clear why you overturn Roe v. Wade, man. You know, now you got these right wing, Bible Belt Confederate so-called Christians, all right, who believe in their perception of Jesus through American football. Okay, Budweiser, okay, like Lauren Boebert said, assault weapons and a hatred for N-words. See, this is their perception of Jesus, and that's why. Let me get this real quick, man. Let me get this real quick. These devils are finished, man. That's what this is what the individual tweeted. If they are hungry, cut benefits to programs that feed them. If they are sick, deny them health care. If they are strangers, deport them. Okay? Republicanians 13, verse 2 or verse 4. So she's trying to be facetious. You know what I'm saying? Using the Bible as a crutch for her comedic satire, conveying a message. But hey, this is what they're doing, man. Okay? And they're finished. They never believed in the Lord. In case in point, the Lord is breaking down this society. You think they agree with that? No. That's why they're going to fight him. I thought you believed in him, though. See? So, yes, I'm going to get the next precept in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 50. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 50. And it reads, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Like you thoughts out here, you harlots. Okay? This is a further omen of what is happening to you. You're being restricted, you're being removed from your rights, the rights you thought you had. Okay? Because you trusted in this system, That's why you've been walking around here proud, effing over men, disrespecting men who have constructed your society, including the buildings that you sit in with the cold AC, but you got the audacity to say men ain't shit. You really say N-words ain't shit, as in Jake ain't shit, but you gonna be singing a different tune, percent Isaiah 4:1, and we're gonna be picky. We're gonna reciprocate the same energy you have directed towards us, man. Okay? Despising the true message of truth. all right, of peace through the word of Yahweh Shem Shai, of purity, true whiteness, pursuing Daniel 12 and 10, because the Israelites are the true white people. So you're going to be seeking that light, but we're not going to have anything to do with the majority of you, all right, including you women, the focal point of Roe v. Wade, all right, you see? So, jumping down to verse 56, for when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High Yahweh, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his ways. You see? And that's why, going back to this article here, further showcases, the precursors to come, and that's civil liberties and rights being removed. Okay, let's further speak on that. Okay, now let me jump down here. It says the court's consequential ruling in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization represents the culmination of decades of conservative ideological assault on reproductive freedom, and it opens a door for the court's 6-3 supermajority to strike down a host of other, a host of other protections, other protections, man. Had to highlight that real quick. Grounded in the Constitution's promise of individual liberty that the court declares in Dobbs are not actually rooted in history and tradition, including the right to use contraception, the right to consequential sexual relations, and the right to same-sex marriage. So it's not far-fetched that they're anticipating, the overturning of what they just mentioned here, going back to 2015 when they made that legal, right? In all 50 states in America. When they overturn it, don't be surprised, man. Regarding you people in the world, okay? Because you cannot say, hey, like I said in Ezekiel 33 and 33, you shall know that a prophet was amongst you, okay? So, hey, man, these things are happening, man. Okay, your so-called civil liberties are being removed from you, okay? To further justify a lawless society being rendered, so they can further quote-unquote regulate the human experience, like I said in Davos 22 Satanic Council a few weeks ago. Because it's a part of the plan. Like Christopher Green said, trust the freaking plan, man. You see? I digress. Still, the text of majority ruling, authored by Justice Samuel Alito, is not entirely new. The substance of the ruling has not changed since the leaked draft of the opinion was published by Politico in May. As he did in the leaked opinion, Alito goes on at length about how history doesn't include a right to abortion. See? That's hypocrisy, though. Now, why the hell did you pass it into a law in 1973? And why is Biden not openly, proclaiming, his plan to do anything about it? Because case in point, he's been signing a whole plethora of executive orders since he came into office, man. Most recently, going back to June 8th to June 15th, all right, when he signed an executive order to, to protect, to focus on quote unquote anti-transformer laws to protect the alphabet mafia. Oddly enough, next executive order that was passed in Pride Month. Then on the 15th, I believe on the 15th, there was another executive order to regulate police reform as a further result of what happened to George Floyd and whatnot. You see, so that's the part that they're trying to act like they're, humanitarians. That's why they're involved in global sovereign affairs like down in Ukraine and Syria, and so forth. And that's that wine of fornication, that modern day West philosophy and foreign policy is going to get this place destroyed by further exposing the hypocrisy, corruption, violence, and inconsistent narratives of their satanic agenda to regulate the quote-unquote human experience. And that's what the plan was the entire time. And that's what's further exposing Esau, Edom. Okay? So, but I digress. It says, noting Sir Matthew Hale, 17th century judge who sentenced 2 witches to death and advocated for a husband's right to blank his wife, gives a nod to a historical idea that abortion is akin to eugenics, and seems perplexed by the idea that any reliance interest may have developed around a 50-year-old abortion precedent. In other words, he can't see how generations of people may have internalized a guarantee that they have the right to plan and control their reproductive lives. So that's far-fetched to him. But why the hell was it passed into a law? because that goes into the confusion. Okay? Controlled opposition. And you people are taking the bait. Now, a lot of you, once again, whether you're government plan or not, you still fell for the snare because you believe in oppression. Otherwise, you would not allow this man of sin, the son of perdition, to use you as for the tools of chaos. Because you ultimately believe it, because you believe in him ultimately. Okay? So where was Biden signing executive order? Okay? That basically, supersedes a legislative order because it doesn't have to pass Congress. He's been signing them. Why hasn't he entertained the idea or spoken about the idea of signing an executive order, in regards to gun reform, or in this case specifically the Roe v. Wade situation, because he has no power. And he's a politician. He's a controlled minister of Shaitan, like it's spoken about in 2 Corinthians 11 chapter. That's why he said, oh, well, I'm disappointed in the Supreme Court, but I'll do everything in my power. You ain't got no damn power, man. Whatever power you think you have, just, like in case society needs executive orders, it's all for their agenda. Now, you do have these, that's why you had, these reprobates. Matter of fact, go back to the Twitter feed real quick. Now you had a couple of you had specific protesters, talking about F the state and F this and that. Now let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So I might have. Let me see. Give me 1 second, Bob Gashah. And national protests over this shit, man. Right here. F the court, F the state, the people must decide their fate. You see? Hey, so this lines up with 2nd Esdras 15. Salakia. Give me 1 second, Bob Gashah. As soon as this thing acts right. 2nd Esdras chapter 15. Verse 15. And it reads, Salakia. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. See? So it's a coincidence that, and what's the modern day sword? All right, the GAT. All right, the GUN. All right, these are the modifications of weapons of mass destruction. All right. So this is a coincidence that this article came out where Jim Crow Joe said he's deeply disappointed in the Supreme Court of the United States ruling on open carry, further expanding the Second Amendment right. But hold on, you just had Congress today announce gun restriction laws. They're looking to pass over the Jim Crow Joe. It's all controlled opposition, man. So are you pro gun abolition? You know what I'm saying, in regards to pro gun legislations, or anti? Which one is it? They're straddling the fence on behalf of these political parties and whatnot. All right, and preying on the minds of these simple Americans, man, so they can have their civil war. All right. This is what he said. I am deeply disappointed in the Supreme Court's ruling in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin. Since 1911, the state of New York has required individuals who would like to carry a concealed weapon in public to show a need to do so for the purpose of self-defense and to acquire a license. So now, with this ruling, they're saying that's not the case anymore. Despite the fact you just had a Edomite supremacist just shoot up a damn supermarket in Buffalo, but yet they make this rule. It's not coincidence, man. We're not ignorant of these devil's devices. So this is what they're doing, man. And that's why in that article, they're using these legislations and whatnot to remove people from liberties they never really had. That's why the 14th Amendment is being compromised, which is basically the idea of acting upon one's ideological beliefs. And that's why you You pro-abortionists are suffering now because you fell for the okie doke. You never had any damn rights. This devil used you. Okay? You know? So yeah, we'll expand your Second Amendment right just to pull the rug from underneath your feet. Because they want more carnage. That's why they have what's that? At least 23 states in America, most recently Ohio, that has permitted open permitless gun carry laws. Now the Supreme Court just made this ruling to further expand the Second Amendment right. They're not disbanding it; they're looking to expand it. Okay, it's all controlled opposition, man. All right. So, you know, do they ultimately want to take away, the minded source from you people? Okay. You know, that would not be far fetched. You know, it as well, because once again, it's all a part of controlled opposition. But ultimately, they don't give a damn about you people having a modern day swords. Go out there and put and eliminate yourselves. Because they're doing them, you're doing the state a favor. It's like in that movie, The Purge. They said all these people need to exact all their hatred in one night. You see? So that purge about to be reality, man. All you people out here, including women out here playing games, you know what I'm saying? You know, with the Lord's word, okay? You're going to be calling on some kind of God before it's all said and done. That's when you're going to laugh in the face of your calamity. All right? So, that's pretty much it. Bring out a few more. Yeah, so I'm going to go to, why? Because you're distracted by what's going on. All right, let's get this real quick. It's on HalTurnerRadioshow.com. It says, force majeure declared oil for diesel engines gone in 8 weeks. A potentially catastrophic situation is emerging that threatens to wipe out the entire supply of diesel engine oil across the United States, leaving the country with no diesel engine oil until 2023. Chemical manufacturers of diesel engine oil additives have declared force majeure, which is as in a force they cannot control, and have ceased supply operations to the diesel engine oil manufacturers. Those manufacturers combine base oils with additive packages to create diesel engine oil. Okay? So translation, jumping down here. If trucks have to shut down because the engine oil is exhausted, all commerce will cease because everything in the country except electricity and natural gas must at some point be transported by truck. No trucks means no products. No products means no commerce. Full, complete collapse. While people are distracted by this Roe v. Wade shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, all the other affairs of this life that chokes the word and makes it unfruitful. Why? Because they love sleep. And that's why Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter, mentioned the significance of pleasing the Lord with no distractions. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, I believe it's around the 31st verse. Slakia. Let me see where it's at. I believe it's in this chapter. If I'm not mistaken. All right, Salakia. Yep, 1 Corinthians 7:35. And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord Yahweh by Shemeshai without distraction. Because these distractions are not profitable for our salvation, man. The affairs of this life that chokes the word and makes them fruitful. And that's why 2 Timothy 2:4 says, endure hardness as a sound soldier for my Shemeshai, to not be entangled in the affairs of this life. Okay? To further distract you from the straight and narrow gate of righteousness, to do the things within that straight and narrow gate of righteousness, okay, of the things to please Yahweh by Shemeshai, to be deemed worthy enough to be spared from these said perilous times that we're in, okay, all right, including civil war and martial law. So going back to 2 Ezra 15:15, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. See, so we're seeing sedition, including sedition amongst these politicians above these high political courts and offices. Like, like Maxine Waters making that statement, to hell with the Supreme Court. Elizabeth Warren saying the same thing. Jim Crow Joe saying the same thing. He's the president of America. Babylon the Great. See? This is prophecy for the manifesting off of these pages of the word of Yahweh by Shem Yashai's ancient scrolls in book form, more so now in these last days than ever before, because these end signs, all right, are precursors showcasing that we are living in these ending times, man. All right, a time of war, a time of judgment. Okay, not a time of love and peace. Like you wisdom deprived women out there begging for validation from the serpent. Okay, and all of you and the rest of the supporters with that sentiment in mind. Okay, you're following the blind leaders of the blind as a blind into a ditch, death and destruction. Okay, for believing in oppression, trusting in oppression, like it says in Isaiah the 30th chapter. Okay, and that's within every path outside of the straight and narrow gate of righteousness is of that pit, destruction, death and destruction, man. All right. 2nd Ezra 15 and 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay, because you're gonna shut the grid down, and that's why in that article it said what it said. Okay, may I mention, matter of fact, I believe there's another article on that. We're in the midst of power outages, blackouts this summer. So as opposed to a hot girl and hot boy summer, you're gonna have a damn dark summer, man. All right. So despite Amber Rose coming out with that remix or coming out with that song, Get Your Hoe On, hey man, you ain't gonna have very much room to do that. So live it up now, where you have liberty, because you're about to lose your so-called liberties, man. Okay. So back on this article. Hey, there's going to be blackouts, they're talking about diesel fuel supply halting within about 8 weeks. And some weeks ago, they had mentioned how there's a shortage of supply on wheat. That was to quote unquote, or to that was anticipated to end in 2 weeks. So these are just what does that mean? These are just test runs as what's to come. A shortage of supplies and natural resources and commodities that are heavily relied upon for the livelihoods of mankind. So what's going to result in? 2nd Ezra 15 and 18. Burglaries, like in the road. They were so hungry and hurt. They were looking for homes to break into to see if they had resources. Not considering that those places, could be booby traps, man. Snares of death. What I'm saying? Like in that movie, The Collector. You see, where that burglar he broke into a house and turned that house into a death trap. So whoever tried to come in there and undermine his burglary, attempt, they will walk into that snare of death. For example, you see. So these are the times what you're living in, man. Okay, evil, like it says in Ezekiel the 7th chapter. All right, so this is a time what we're living in. All right, 2nd Ezra 15:18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. I'm going to go and end it off here in Amos 9 and 8. And it says, behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, said the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yashai. And that sinful kingdom is America, Babylon Great, and we are in the beginning stages of this place, witnessing the destruction of this place. All right, where the remnant of Jacob, the elect, okay, will be spared from his said perils, man, and everyone else will be caught up in it. So with that, I'm going to end it off there. Give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Mashiach, Rashai, without you giving the spirit to this video, which I praise for the edifying and exhorting to the elect of Israel. All right. And with that, Abad Babal, DTA, Kwame Allah, Shalom to the elect, and on to the next one.